It takes time. We live in, I feel like a time now where everybody wants instantaneous like fame or fortune or this. And the real challenge is in the building of whatever you are building. And if it's for yourself, it's going to make that much sweeter in the end. So trust the process, embrace the failures, and don't be scared to ask for help.
All right. Hello, everybody. David Donaldson here with Joe Martin for this week's edition of Entrepreneurial Impact. Very excited to have Elaina Kirk with us this week from the Chesapeake coastal region. You know, very savvy social media presence, but also somebody that's worked very hard to get to where they are, coming from contribution and giving back to their local community. So, Elaina, welcome for joining us this week. How's everything going?
Thank you for having me. Everything is going. No complaints. Maybe you just need a little rest, but no complaints.
Rest on a Monday?
I know. I was like, we work weekends usually. So yeah, Monday's the best we can get with rest.
It kind of goes back to like the hospitality industry, right? Mondays and Tuesdays, Fridays off.
Absolutely. Yes. Oh, those days.
You might be the first person we've had on the podcast that was actually excited about talking about real estate, because everybody else has been doom and gloom about like how it's all going in the tank. And I don't know, woe is me and the sky is falling. So what? I love that. Like, oh yeah, it's been great. It's really been fascinating. It's like, hey, how's you doing? Oh, well, I'm back to open houses. I've actually got to do some work. You can't just put it in the MLS and expect it to sell. So it was actually very fast. It was great to hear the positive energy coming from you as we kick off today.
I mean, I feel like you gotta have some sort of positive outlook. Otherwise, it will be doom and gloom. But now, no complaints here. It's, I'm just keeping it positive, but it's easy when, I don't know, I spend a lot of time with my folks. I don't call them clients because they're my people and friends now. And I just really just got off of a client appreciation party. So that was really cool just to be invigorated by them. And I don't know, it's hard to be negative right now, so I can't pretend.
Tell me about the client appreciation party. What was that like? What did you do, and what was?
So it was a slight disaster, but then not, because it poured the entire time. But no, I had a fall family festival. It was at Greenbrier Farms. It's a huge farm down in the country part of Chesapeake here, and for a pouring day where the activities were hay rides and bounce houses and pumpkin picking in a field, I still had a pretty decent turnout. So I just felt bad because all the stuff I told everybody come and enjoy got canceled. But we did have a good time. I want to say I had a balloon person there. We had some crafts, some activities for the kids. But I think any time to get in front of my folks is the best opportunity. And again, I love them. They love me, and they still came out in the pouring rain on a farm. So I have to be grateful and thankful for that, because, I don't know if I would have came. No, I'm just kidding.
I think this is a lot about you and your relationship with your clients, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
Absolutely.
there was work to go to get to this spot, right?
Absolutely.
So how did you begin, right? How did you start to say, go from where you were to now I'm hosting client events at a farm in a ring?
Like the whole thing where it start everything?
We always have people that come out that there's a reason you got into real estate. Some are very simple as, hey, I was transitioning from the military, and you're a military mom, so thank you for that, right?
Yes,
but
I am.
What was it that kind of kicked you off in your entrepreneurial spirit that led you down into real estate?
Well, it's not, so I guess, Joe, this is where the positivity goes out, because it wasn't a happy story. It was a swift kick in the butt out the door of a prior position I held. Actually, funny, not funny, but I just got to go with watch Joe with Career Visioning, and he was talking about references and stuff. And I was like, oh, darn, if you see me on a piece of paper, I would never make it past at least the resume part. But anyway, prior to real estate, I graduated Old Dominion University with an education degree. It was 2008-9, which we know what happened then. So when I graduated, there was a hiring freeze for teachers. Basically, they were encouraging early retirement and all of this fun, great
Yeah,
stuff.
We just
So-
started. Let me encourage you into retirement. Welcome aboard.
no, they did. Like they were. I don't want to use the word forcing, but basically they were like kind of, hey, strongly suggesting you retire early type thing. So I ended up landing a gig, I should say, at a local nonprofit as an educator. I just taught some kids. It was a sports hall of fame, so it was sports and math and science and all of that stuff. So. From there, I worked my way up to the head of the department, I will say, ended up as an education foundation director, curriculum development, fundraising, all of that. And that was 10 years of my life. But I want to say probably around year.
You just downticked in your tone. I feel like you're about to say that was 10 years of my life that I wish I had gotten back. That's where I thought you were going with that comment.
So it does wrap in there because around year 8, I did explore real estate, and I went to school, which I guess they're old employers, so it doesn't matter. But I took online real estate school at my desk of my old job. But then they, I guess, renegotiated, or I renegotiated my contract and salary. So I thought the money, which I thought was the peak of my career, was just what I needed to be happy. But that didn't last very long, because within, I guess, less than 2 years, just it all fell apart, and we parted ways, I should say. So, and then that's when real estate was very much forefront, and the way it kind of parted ways, I made a promise to myself that I would not work for anyone but myself. So that kind of became the big priority. And then the other thing is, on my way out, they told me never to call them for a reference. So I was like, dang, like 10 years, a blip on my career, like map of 10
just
years.
A decade,
and just a decade. You're just going to sit down and be like, can you explain these 10 years? Like why there's nothing? So yeah.
You should just say you had a transcendental moment in your life, and you went off to like the Himalayas and had like a seance and transformational experience with like just.
I'm going to now. I think so, because I think that would throw people off and that they wouldn't ask too many more questions. But now, so that was pretty much it. And then I made a promise that, like I said, never to work for someone. And then my goal in the first year of real estate was to make $1 more than what I was making at the old job. And that was like, I made $50,000. So my goal was $50,001, which I achieved plus. So it was definitely the right move. But yeah, so that's pretty much how I got into it. So it was an experience that wasn't so great, that really made me want to be my own boss and not have to, I guess, listen to other people within reason. Just they kind of put handcuffs on me. I was generating revenue for them and fundraising, but yet I wasn't able to do it to the full potential that I knew that the job could be done, just because of politics and red tape and people's preferences. So real estate was fantastic, because now I get to do it all to the level that I want to. So, and it's been great.
Well, it's fascinating you brought up a point there, is that like for growth in all aspects, there's always an inflection point of like insurmountable pain or negative, right? And you talk about like peaks and valleys of like your emotions around stuff. And it was fascinating that like the thing that caused you to make the jump was like this down dark place of like someone telling you get lost, whatever transpired in that.
Yes.
And then there was a revenge, and I wouldn't say revenge isn't the right word, but there's a chip on your shoulder of like, I'm going to prove you wrong.
Absolutely.
And between the negativity and then the chip, it actually causes people to move forward, which one of my great interview questions is always like, great, you've achieved amazing things. Tell me about the lowest point in your life and tell me how you got out of it.
Yeah.
Right.
That was probably one of them. Like just again, not to go back on that, but I grew up, I'm originally from Long Island, New York. So I have like an Italian, like Brooklyn purebred family. And
you're a Mets fan, so you're used to like disappointments. I get it.
Actually, yes, very much. So it's like, I don't even, they did all right, but yeah, the heartache is if I'm not in pain, I feel it's off. But anyway, I know it's like the same thing. I am a Giants fan too, and the fact that they're doing somewhat decent, I don't even know what to do with myself, because I feel like as soon as I get my hopes up, they're going to go tank again. But anyway, so Italian New Yorker family, they really just, you're going to put your head down, you're going to work as hard as you can, get a job with a salary job that pays health insurance and save money, and that was it. So, I checked the boxes off, I guess, that I thought I was supposed to. So it wasn't really, I don't know, encouraged or anything. It was really just do the job, kind of stay quiet unless you're around a dinner table. Then we were all really, really loud. But yeah, that was kind of it. But I will say that moment was probably the lowest. I didn't realize that 8-year mark, that 9-year mark where, I didn't even recognize myself. I lived for the 5 o'clock, weekends were the thing. It was so, I don't know, just took a toll mentally, physically, all of that. So I had a rebirth, I guess, into real estate and then other stuff. So.
Well, you've obviously come a little bit further along than $1 more than what
I did, yes.
you're making, right?
Yeah.
From 10 years to that to where you are now, right? So what was it that it made you realize hey, this is it? I really have an opportunity here to grow and do those things and be accountable to myself and build this business.
Well, I just the self accountability there for sure, because I know that everyone says that when you wake up, you're would you fire yourself? Yes. I have to, I am well, no, I will never fire myself, but now I have to look at myself, and I will tell you, obviously working harder than I ever did now, because, I still have my morning routine. I'm still up and at the door. I'm working, now it's for me from a teacher, heart, I will say, with the job that I had. And then now it's kind of a combination of everything I like to do, because I do love taking care of people. I love educating people. So whether that is educating a seller on how to sell their home, or what they need to do, or educating a first-time home buyer, or even helping out in the office on ALC, new agents and whatnot, and teaching there, that's kind of in my blood. So it kind of goes hand in hand. And then the other thing, which is kind of a byproduct, is as a teacher, used to write lesson plans all the time. So I literally am used to writing processes and procedures and systems, because I would have to hand them off to other people to actually do each of these things step by step. So I do have a little bit of an advantage when it comes to systems and following systems and processes and writing those out for other positions, because I've done it before. So that kind of comes second nature. So,
but it's interesting that you've come from teaching, but essentially you are, with pouring back into your office and your market, so you're teaching again, right? So that skill set is always good for you, right? Or whether
absolutely.
It's associates or consumers, we're educated.
Yes, absolutely. And that's really where that's the warm and fuzzies there. And then, meeting new people that don't know exactly what to do, and then showing them, and actually utilizing that now. So I do annual reviews with my client, my whole database, I should say, and just sitting down with them and just educating them on processes, potential rental opportunities, how to make their real estate portfolio work for them, or potentially plan for a kid in college or whatever it may be using real estate. So again, it doesn't stop at just the buying and selling. It's an ongoing education that goes to all of my folks, my clients, my people, just pouring back into them, because I think that's so powerful, and that it is attainable, but they just don't know, because that was me one day. I had no idea. I was just doing my day-to-day job, and I didn't know other possibilities or options out there to better position myself financially. So
I got a question for you, and then I'm going to loop back some things you've said throughout this podcast that I think is really powerful for those listening in about just entrepreneurialism and the journey. But so you got to a low point with your employer, and so they educated you on work-life fulfillment, and that you had to go on to your next worldly occupation that would actually fulfill you, right?
Yeah.
So they released you to the world of opportunity that is real estate by basically saying you should leave. This is all my deadpan humor and how
I love it though. It's great.
So the question I've got is, I got this pain point, why real estate? So I've had a lot of people on. There was one story about a guy that was like at 3 a.m. got fired from his job the night before. At 3 a.m. he's on an infomercial about how to be your own boss and make all this money. And it was basically real estate school and some infomercial at 3 a.m. So what, like, you could have gone anywhere at that point. Why real estate? Like, what was the interest in that level of entrepreneurialism?
My team leader was my realtor and sold me my house. So the whole
Good
time.
job, Cosette.
I know if you don't know Cosette, that she is pretty much yeah. So my first home was on Lambourne Lane, which is her last name. So she like totally ate that up, but then also was like, you need to leave and come into real estate. And I was like, again, I'm a Taurus, so it's like I get comfy. And I like to stay where I'm at, and then until I get the swift kick in the butt, and then I got to go. But so that was where I was. And then finally so the writing was all over the walls. Everybody was like doing the most, telling me, real estate, you need to do real estate. And then Cosette kind of put a little bit of the flame, and then the boot in the butt was the final kicker. No pun intended, or pun intended.
So one takeaway from it is, those listening, about change. Change usually comes from two things: excruciating pain, and that somebody influential in your life actually had enough,
or both,
right? If you get both. But then you have somebody in your life that puts you in check and says like, hey, I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you. I'm actually going to be real with you, because I'm actually trying to figure out what's best for you, right? So I think keeping your 5, right? If you think about who you surround yourself with and all that, like, if it wasn't for that like negative experience, and then someone like Cosette that has real impact in your life, you wouldn't be where you're at today. So
yeah, absolutely not.
So when you think about, one of the things I heard throughout your entire journey was this idea of what we were told was a perfect life, that go get a job, go be beholden to a 9 to 5 and a salary, and don't think about business ownership and entrepreneurialism, because you can have a true impact in your community through home ownership, which is one of the biggest things that gets me fired up about real estate, is that you can transcend generational like welfare and being poverty through just getting somebody into a home that they can afford, they were going to pay rent for anyway, and then being that advocate. And I've heard that through your entire episode. And the impact that it has, it says, hey, I bucked a trend of what my family had already told me was the right path. And I found out what the best path was for me. So besides just financial stability in regards to the income, and also betting on yourself, what other impact have you been able to have through your real estate sales business, besides just like financial and running a business? Like, what other things have come up that you've been able to impact, because you're basically a small business owner?
Honestly, I just feel like the being in the mindset of a business owner has opened me up like to so many opportunities new experiences that I don't think I've ever, I've done some amazing, this is my 4th year in real estate, and I've done some amazing things that I don't even know, if I could have or would have if I haven't been in real estate. 1, I climbed Kilimanjaro in 2021. 2, I bought 2 investment properties for my.
Wait. Like, you just kind of glossed over that for a second, okay? You don't just go flying Mount Kilimanjaro.
So I climbed. So that was 2021. Yes, I climbed Kilimanjaro. I made it to the top. Yes, sir. Very excited. But that experience too, I don't think I would, first of all, my old job wouldn't give me that amount of time off, let alone making that money to pay for the trip. But then the other thing is the community inside that. We actually partnered with a charity. So we had a give back and part of that. But anyway, that whole experience itself and the mindset of that is, I was comfortable. I was exactly what I said, doing the things that like my family thought what they considered success was. And then I set out to do this life-changing experience, because that's exactly what it was. But did I ever think I could think that big, like 19,000 feet big? No, I don't think I could have or would have. But once I started this whole real estate journey, it really just opened up to like, what am I actually capable of? So yes, so that's a long answer, but yes.
Well, that's astounding to think, like you're saying, you've been in real estate 4 years and you've had this formal evolution of yourself. And that was over a year ago. So that started to happen to you just 2 years into the business to go literally think, how big can I go? Like,
can I go? Yep. Yep. And do you know what? I think that that experience, I think, kind of was partnered with that transition into it, is that I was coming out of this 10 years of what I thought or what people thought I should be, and trying to, now breaking through into a new career that was run by me and solely by me. But then also that experience was kind of the same thing. It was a breakthrough moment where, people have put me in a box or didn't think I was capable of doing something like that. And then, so it kind of was simultaneous, like the breakthrough in both aspects.
So when you look at impact, who have you become because of the transition into real estate, like as a person?
Honestly, I just feel more comfortable in my own skin and in who I am as a person. A little bit more confidence in just me as a whole. I think that I have a better grasp of that all. Again, I just feel like I was, living life for other people, whether that was, my family or, the board of directors that I served or whatever it may be. But like this has, for me, has just opened up where more control and more confidence in who I am individually. So.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
If you were to give 3 pieces of advice on your journey, what would that be? If you were talking to somebody about like, hey, you're about to leave a 9-to-5, go into business on your own and bet on yourself, what are like 3 things that you would want somebody to know before they made that leap?
Oh, goodness. Embrace failures, because they're going to come. And once you shift that perspective where they're not failures, you're just learning, like, I feel like it takes a weight off. So embrace failures, because they're not. Are we talking real estate advice or just in general advice?
Just life advice. Be our life coach.
Life.
Just tell us how to, like, survive
Got
Long
it.
Island and finally get to Virginia and thrive.
Oh, I don't know about that. No, I'm just kidding. I think that it would be trust the process. And I guess that kind of goes with 2 and 3 is it takes time. I know we live in, I feel like a time now where everybody wants instantaneous, like, fame or fortune or this, and the real challenge is in the building of whatever you're building. And if it's for yourself, it's going to make that much sweeter in the end. So trust the process, embrace the failures, and don't be scared to ask for help. Okay. Because that's another thing, is who I have met in the last 4 years, come across, conversations I've had, like, again, being in rooms with certain people has been so life-changing and impactful. So those 3 for me, I would say. Not failures, trust the process, and then also don't be afraid to ask for help.
I know that you have a large social media presence, and through this story I'm hearing about the different things that you've done and that you share these experiences. And what is that channel like? How does that allow you to be yourself openly like that with your consumers and your friends and other business owners that you're involved with?
Guys, so honestly, I just try to be as authentic as possible. I think that's really, well, I was like, they say the hardest lie, well, once you tell a lie, it's hard to keep the lie up all the time. So I feel like just being true to yourself is just the key to that, because then it's just living your day-to-day life and then sharing that. Then I think the other thing is I do really focus on other people, so whenever there's anything I could share or videos or put out there that someone can learn from or gain some sort of information or knowledge from, like, then that's really my jam, besides when I'm eating for dinner and whatnot. Everyone loves puppies and food pics, right? That's good.
All right.
Starter, right?
Yeah. So they say that.
You always rent a jet and take pictures on Instagram. Like
I heard that legit, that's insane to me. Insane.
So it's a whole business thing, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
or you can go on Turo and rent one of those Maseratis or something like that and make it really look like you're living your best life. But hey, what do I know?
I know. Crazy. But
Well, Elaina, I just want to say thank you for like letting us pick your brain and coming on, spending some time and just sharing your trials, tribulations, and that, somebody that was in education got, successfully transitioned into real estate, built her own business, and then also climbed Mount Kilimanjaro. And with my knee, I'm never going to be doing that. So thank you for thank you for the time today. Thank you for sharing. I think it was really inspirational for a lot of people looking at this entrepreneurial impact. And just want to say thank you.
Thank you very much for having me and spending time with you guys. I do want to do a quick plug because it's KWYP chapter president right here. So anybody watching in the Hampton Roads area, so that's everywhere, Williamsburg down, we would love for you to join our chapter. So I would please reach out to me. You can email me, Elaina Kirk Realty @gmail.com, or give me a call or find me coastal. I'd love to chat and kind of expand our circle here in Hampton Roads. So thank you.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much.
That's
Have
a
a good
wrap.
one, guys.